Let's
Yeah,
go.
if we go to the next slide, this is
All
one that
right.
I wrote, which has much more free form and therefore
Okay,
worse content.
we
I just
have sexy high heels.
yeah, the sexy high heel, the sexy shoe.
Yeah.
The point that I'm getting at with this is something we've kind of alluded to earlier, which is that fashion is one of several ways that you can code gender in your society, and this is very dependent on your society. Its ways of organizing and thinking about gender. It's very mutable. Sometimes it's very alien to our conception. And one example of that is high heels, right, which were originally invented for riding horseback with stirrups by the Mongols and sort of came to Europe as a form of ostentation that was specifically male and specifically manly, because it made you look imposing and it made you look tall, all of the same reasons that women like it.
And it makes your cows look good.
Yeah, it makes you look good as hell. Like high heels make you look amazing.
I mean, if you look at that picture of Louis XIV from the last slide, it is specifically arranged to show off his legs. Like that is part of the point that's being made here.
Just like what's his face from Game of Thrones, Khal Drogo, in like stilettos.
Yeah, I mean, it's powerful and it's elegant, and like if they get tall enough, then they can also do the same thing of conveying that like I'm too fancy to have to really walk around. It keeps your shoes out of the gutters.
I have a horse to do that.
Yeah,
can also help you give people the Johnson treatment.
Yeah, and I mean, and my point with this is only to say that like the ways in which fashion sort of like is used to convey gender have changed in ways and are changing in ways that we seldom fully understand, and which are often tremendously subtle. And if you are the menswear guy, you can like use this to own Matt Walsh on Twitter and be like, oh, interesting, you want to take away trans people's rights. Are you aware that you're wearing a suit that was originally like designed for like a feminine face? It doesn't matter. I don't care. That's a stupid way of like dealing with him. I think we should probably instead. You'll have to bleep that.
This is a bonus. You don't have to bleep anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like
it's up to you, Jeff.
It's a stupid own to make, and I hate the fucking menswear guy. But there is a point to be made here about like
the menswear guy. Gavin, get into it on Twitter.
The ways in which gender is socially constructed through clothing. And that was my slide for this.
There's another interesting fact about shoes from this era, which isn't particularly relevant to the discussion we're having here, but it is just interesting, which is that a lot of them were what is called single-lasted, which means they are made to be worn on either foot. So what you would do is you would wear them one way, and then you'd switch them around, and it would help the wear pattern even out so they'd last longer.
Oh, God. Like you were halfway through that, I was going to make a joke about it being about the wear pattern. It's about the wear pattern. Wow, it's just like this is the same reason they turn around railroad equipment when they don't really have to.
There you go.
Try to only use your powers of psychic prediction for good, Ross.
It's interesting, by the way, the details on this shoe that are still like extant in modern shoemaking. Like,
right.
They're sort of more rudimentary because it's old and it's like it's not as sort of like concealed, but like things like a stacked heel that like sort of like hand welted that the seam along the side there, which was then sort of like supplanted by a Goodyear welt with vulcanized rubber and stuff, but it's still in use in like sort of high-end shoes. So I mean, a lot of this stuff, like as much as fashions change, there are only so many ways to make things, and a lot of techniques still kind of survive in unexpected ways or are rediscovered and reused in that way.
Not to mention that, like, even as we've invented faster and cheaper ways to make things, a lot of those older techniques are, considered artisan craftsmanship, and wearing them is another way to show off your money because it takes somebody days and days to do that. So
yeah, I get my sort of like my fancy English leather boots where someone has like stacked the heel and like sewn the welt and everything by themselves, and it's like because I got that podcast money,
Yes.
All right.
What is the pod?
Keep it going. Next slide.
What is the podcaster fashion? I'm wearing a T-shirt that has the SEPTA system printed on it.
A camo hoodie and shorts.
I'm wearing a T-shirt that says Memphis on it.
I am wearing a Boy Genius T-shirt and some tactical jeans from Varus to Leica.
Oh, Alice.
I will note that on this T-shirt, Pattison Station is still called AT&T. not NRG.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Selling
wish-
station naming rights is fucking awful.
I wish I had been like better dressed for this, just so I could like flex, and people would cancel their Patreons en masse because I could just be like, yeah, I'm wearing like a Prada like Linea Rossa like shirt.
Oh, I'm wearing one of those, probably.
Yeah, of course
I know
you
what
are.
that
yeah.
is.
Linea
Alright.
Rossa is Prada's like winter sports line. It's like they do the snowboarding stuff. You can get
How
like,
do
a
you
very
spell
nice quilted. Linea Rossa, like red line, LINEAROSSA.
Please
Oh, thank you,
sponsor
got
us.
No, Prada, do not sponsor us.
My sort of like news, my new secret secondary objective is to fashion pill Liam before the end of this episode, and like the next time I see him at like a live show or I see a photo of him, he's just like Gucci'd out to the nines, like completely.
I
couture.
really like this. They don't make this in fat guy
Yeah.
sizes, but if they did, I'd be I will be spending your Patreon dollars on the well the rate code goes up to 3x. That's not bad. But is it European 3x?
Yeah, I was
Because-
gonna say yeah. All we'll get into this in the haute couture bit, but like high fashion sizing is like I am like a 25XL as far as these things go.
Yeah, the
Alright.
European 3X is like a medium twink hair.
We'll get to that.
It's just a guy standing on an iceberg. I'm gonna shoot this model.
This is the funniest thing about like high fashion is you can throw people at it and they find exciting new ways to hate themselves.
I don't mind being fat. I just mind this.
I take that and I just turn it around into exciting new ways to hate
$650 for a balaclava?
rich people.
Yeah.
We're just,
All right,
just gonna,
all right,
I'm just gonna
this
like
tab. I'm
no,
very
it's fine.
bad.
I'm just gonna name you. Do you want to look
Very-
at the Gucci mix capsule that's supposedly gender neutral but really isn't?
All right, I'm gonna better blast my calves. I better look fucking good.
We're recording this on Super Bowl Sunday, folks.
Can I just say that any fashion can be gender neutral if you're not a fucking coward? Anyway.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
There's a Gucci MLB capsule. What? Why? Oh, this is dreadful.
All right, new game is just like I get Liam's earnest first reaction to like any high fashion thing because I think this is my favorite thing in the world right now.
You get Liam in the AI generated Balenciaga ad.
Oh, with the whatever the bondage teddy bears.
No, that was a separate thing. That was like a
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like weird controversy that was also kind of confected. But there was also like AI generated Balenciaga ads that would like, or it's like it was
There was
Harry
a
Potter characters.
There was a Harry Potter one, and then someone did Famous Architects, which was very funny.
All
Rem
right,
Koolhaas
winter
wearing
ready
them.
to wear Gucci.
Oh, no, it was like
oh,
historic
these
architects,
are
which is-
awful. $720 for a T-shirt, huh? That's
We'll get into like actually the T-shirt's a good lens to explain different like tiers of fashion. So we'll
Yeah,
do that.
I got
I
my
like-
T-shirt for free at the SEPTA Rail Rodeo.
You know what? I like some of the all over awful Gucci print shit. I think that's pretty good.
Thank you, Liam. We got some some
Yes, once upon
Yes.
a time we were podcasting.
Sorry.
The printing press is introduced to Europe in
Huge mistake. Made a lot of people very unhappy.
yes, and in addition to like actual things that can help society like books and shit, this also becomes a way to print what is called fashion plates. They originate with France and Britain, where they're just people who are just kind of drawing. These are all like royal fashions, but there's also just street fashion being drawn and made into these plates that can be printed and sent around to places much easier, much more quickly than just one person going to Paris and coming back and saying, hey, I saw people wearing stuff that kind of looked like this. We should dress kind of like this too. And so what you get is suddenly people start keeping up with trends more and more quickly over a
this
wider
is like a
area.
Subculture too that annoys people, particularly when men do it, like fops, or dandies.
Fops, dandies, yes.
Macaronis, yeah.
And that is actually what the macaroni in Yankee Doodle is stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. It's sarcasm. Like, look at this guy who thinks he's the pinnacle of fashion by putting one feather in his hat, these backwards Americans. Yankee Doodle was originally
That's crazy. Who won the war?
But like Yankee Doodle is like still wearing an off-white belt in 2024, 6 cry laughing emojis, and then loses the War of Independence anyway.
Well, it started out as a sarcastic song directed at, oh, look at these backwards colonialists, and then the colonial Americans took it and they were like, yeah, that's us. Got a problem with it? Who won the war? But
guess who's not in the Commonwealth of Nations?
Yeah. I'll show you a special relationship, and it's just me flinging off white belts.
I always assume that, oh, I'll show you an X is just immediately followed by unzipping.
No. I would have to take off the off-white. How much is off-white? Off-white.
Oh,
there's going to be a lot of me doing this in this episode. Oh, this is off. Well, oh, I kind of dig this industrial belt. Oh, I kind of like this. I'm going to drop this in the chat. This is kind of dope.
You went through seeing one of these for the first time. That was very pleasing to me.
I'm not going to lie to you, Roz. I feel like you would look good in this.
Well, I can't see it because I have
That's
to
not
record the screen.
off-white. That's yellow.
But it said
well, yellow is off of white.
That is true.
I guess in the same way that I'm currently off of a horse.
my off-horse belt.
Well done, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. So now you have like a readily accessible, transmissible way of being like, here's what you should be wearing.
Yeah.
And now, like,
now you can feel
like
bad about
disease,
yourself.
at least.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about fashion is that you can understand it chiefly as a way of making other people feel bad about themselves so that they buy clothes. And now you can do this so much more efficiently. My God. Like,
And
you're not
this-
just keeping up with the like ladies of like the court of, your royal family. It's like fucking everybody's. What are the Swedish bitches wearing this season?
And this
Snooze
will repeat
hats.
itself a couple more times before we're done here. So, all right. Next slide. Alice, I think this one's yours.
No, that's Liam, baby.
Oh, it's Liam.
Ah.
Liam, take us through.
Hey, so I contributed very little to this episode, but I wanted to
I
talk.
disagree. I prize your contributions.
Yeah,
I wanted
so
to talk
far you've
about.
contributed quite a
We've
lot.
actually already kind of hit it. I don't know that I'm adding anything new, but I have the picture here of Marie Antoinette being beheaded, and I wanted to talk about like fashion as indicator of social strife. Sumptuary laws are a good piece of that to sort of keep the lower classes in line. And there are some modern interpretations of sumptuary laws, well down to like prohibition, cannabis prohibition, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And I think the what I really wanted to say is, how do our aesthetics project what we intend to project? So what are we saying? What are we doing by, there's
I can talk about this in relation
Madame
to
X already hit on that with the I don't have to work fashion.
Yeah, and I can talk about this in relation to pants, specifically
Please,
trousers, because the sort of courtly aristocratic fashion in sort of like a French nobility, of everywhere's nobility, really, was breeches. Like short pants. They come to like just below the knee, and you have stockings underneath those. And this is a kind of like marker of aristocracy, of nobility, specifically. And your laborer, your worker, wears like a longer trouser, like something closer to the, what you or I might wear today. unless we're still wearing breeches like fancy lads. And specifically, as a sort of revolutionary movement, the sans culottes, the without breeches, are the guys who are like, we either are or identify with the laboring classes who, because they work, 20 hours a day in a tannery or whatever, have to wear filthy, like, ankle length trousers instead of your fancy lad breeches. So yeah, you can absolutely, and this is before we even get to military fashion, look at fashion as a sort of like locus of class struggle.
Absolutely. And actually, the next slide is kind of expands on that. We can go ahead and advance.